Cola TV, where they have the best of pizza every day made by me, Luigi.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to Pro Wrestling 60, where we cover everything that happened in the world of professional wrestling this past week in 60 minutes. I'm Xlj the Og, joined by my partner, in crime, my brother from another mother, hailing from across the pond, especially for this week, right? Mr. B-Roll.
Top of the morning to you. I got to get my fish and chips, and I can't do a British accent, so I should probably just stop right now. They're big tea drinkers over here, but
How's the weather?
gloomy.
Gloomy, huh?
Gloomy.
Well, I'm sure, though, it's going to be okay because they are in store for one hell of a week. But hey, speaking of weeks, we had a hell of a week this past week in professional wrestling, didn't we, Mr. B-Roll? And, well, I'm going to throw it to you, and you get with that famous PW60 line. Hit me.
The clock starts now.
Yes, it does. And our top story for this week, of course, we got to talk about it. The Rated R Superstar Edge on Friday Night SmackDown. Superstar went up against Sheamus in, well, what appears to be his last match. A lot of controversy going into this thing because I don't know, it just feels off, you know? Not a whole lot, but of course, Edge said back at the beginning of the year, or even last year, I think it was, that whenever WWE went to Toronto in August, that would probably be his last match. And of course, at the time, they were playing with the idea of SummerSlam being there. Of course, that's not the case for what happened. But nonetheless, we got a hell of a matchup, man. I mean, matter of fact, it's our match of the week here on PW60. I thought it was a great matchup. Interesting, that's the first time these two guys have ever met.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? It was a very physical matchup. It was a great matchup. But what do you make of the whole thing, Mr. B-Roll?
I mean, yeah, it was a great matchup. Gosh, I mean, from the entrance and everything, it got you in the feels like as soon as he, came out and everything, and freaking WWE giving you video packages to like get you all like emotional and everything, but
yeah, I mean, I had goosebumps.
I mean, I would, with all like the rumors that are coming out, I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited, because like if we could get Edge and Christian again in some capacity.
I mean, it just feels like it should have been on something of more of a grandiose stage than SmackDown. No offense to SmackDown, but here's the flip side of this too. You got to look back for when Edge had to retire the first time. It wasn't on his terms. Now, granted, his last match was at WrestleMania, and it's winning in a main event matchup. It's kind of hard to top that, but I mean, still though, he just didn't feel right. He wanted to end it on his terms. I mean, technically, I think this is him ending it. Definitely from a physical and psychological standpoint, I think this is him ending it on his terms. But I do feel like there's a part of him that's like, I got to make this all the more grandiose. But here's the thing, though. Regardless of if this is his last match or not, man, like Edge is one of the all-time greatest wrestlers, period. And yes, it does just feel like you're right, MJ. It does feel like there may be something more ahead for the Rated R Superstar, but I don't know. Time will tell. But speaking of which, why don't we go to our good friend Husky? He's got a hot take on this.
Pro Wrestling 60, what's going on, folks? Now, this past Friday, we saw Edge have his final match in WWE. Air quotes. Because we don't know. And apparently his contract is up at the end of next month. Do you think he's done for good? Personally, for me, I think he's going to do an AEW run and feud against Christian Cage. Because why not have both of them retire after they do a feud? It just makes sense to me. So what do you think? Do you think Adam Copeland is AEW bound? Let me know.
Man, Husky brings a good point.
Bringing the heat, bringing the fire tonight.
I don't know. I think the selfish wrestling fans in us, that's what we want. But like, and it makes sense if it's with his best friend Jay, his brother, pretty much. Or what if you could somehow get like Gangrel there? You do a brood thing. But this is the thing. Edge hasn't worked for another company. Like think about this, okay? Edge has not worked for another company since I believe 1997. And that it just, I don't know, it feel weird because he come out and like the music would be different. You wouldn't be calling him Edge, we'd be calling him Adam Copeland or something. I don't know. Whatever he does, I hope he's happy. That's the most important thing. And I mean, if he's happy with like this last match with Sheamus is on SmackDown, go with it, man. Because literally, there is nothing else that Edge needs to give us because he's given us everything. Like he is one of the all-time greatest performers. That nothing will ever take that away from him. Great human being. So I mean, whatever he does, I'm happy with. The selfish wrestling fan in me, yes, I would love to see him in AEW, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see if that's going to happen. We do know that the contract for Edge in the WWE is not up until September. So, folks, he's not going to be it all in or all out. Just saying. But God, if he was, though, what a moment. But it's not going to happen.
Just saying.
Well, let's talk about the rest of Friday Night SmackDown, as, of course, we saw a little bit more in the storyline with the Bloodline. Not a whole lot, though. Just really a backstage segment with Paul Heyman. But it sounds like Jimmy Uso is going to be on Friday Night SmackDown next week, so that'll be interesting.
Are they just going to like be bringing them in like one by one? Like,
I don't know. They're going to drag it out. I mean, that's what they. Yeah.
Let me say this. You know who I feel like where the storyline is positioned right now? Who it's going to hurt the most? Solo.
You think so?
Unless they have him have just matches like he's been so dominant.
Well, that's true. Yeah, and you haven't seen a whole lot of solos. I don't know, man. I don't know, but the Bloodline story is going to be continuing on for ages, for eons and eons.
Till WrestleMania 40, at least, you know.
Oh, yeah. I honestly think that is correct. Love the Grayson Waller effect with the LWO. LA Knight against Austin Theory. What, a little surprise there that Theory went over on LA Knight to get the U.S. title shot. I mean, I know it'd be a rematch for him, but.
Well, I mean, it was kind of, one Mr. A-lister's fault.
Well, this is true. So that's okay. We'll put it to you this way. Theory needed that win more than LA Knight did, I think, personally. But then you had the Street Profits to get the OC and tag action. Overall, Friday night was a pretty solid show, but mainly main evented by that tremendous Edge last match, or is it his last match? Like I said, we're going to find out here.
We were celebrating 25 years of Edge.
Yeah, let's put it.
That's what we know.
Oh, here we go again. Jesus, this storyline is like, even though it's like real or maybe it's not. Well, let's talk about that. Like, honestly, I'm a little sick. Hey, we've talked about this so many fucking times on this show, but I am a little sick of just everything getting blown up. Like, I mean, this dirt sheet stuff that's going on right now with CM Punk is just fucking getting stupid at this point. what do you believe? What don't you believe? I mean, once again, you've already said it, B-roll. You got to look at where the sources it's come from. I think a lot of this is sensationalized, but I mean, it come out this past week. What that CM Punk had Christopher Daniels and Hangman Page sent home, and then CM Punk won't let Ryan Nemeth be on Collision, and CM Punk got into it to Jack Perry because he wanted to use like some glass or something in a segment. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even fucking remember what segment that would have been on Collision. I don't even remember Jack Perry being on Collision. But anyways, I don't know. Don't you think this is just getting stupid at this point with like CM Punk? Like shit, it turned into a trim. What was it? CM Punk had me kicked off for Collision for ...
Yeah, I mean, it is getting a little bit ridiculous. And fact of the matter is we're never gonna know the full truth.
Nope.
Any of this whole, drama stuff. I do think AEW is guilty of kind of like pushing their own narrative a little bit. And like I think the buttons are still too hot, I think, for some
That's
people.
fair.
Because I think we're going to CMFTR versus the Elite sooner than what some people may think.
Yeah, I totally could see that. Hot spot, hot seat. Do they do it at All Out?
Well, I like your theory.
See, I
I
think
don't
they're
want
going to tease it
I-
at the end of All
yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to actually. I be figuring a tremendous moment at the end of All Out where they're all in the ring together for the first time, like since all this shit, and it's going to be an epic moment. I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll just have to see what happens with old Punker. But speaking of Punk and his stablemates in CMFTR, ouch.
Ooh.
Not a good week for them. As it broke on Friday that Cash Wheeler was arrested in the state of Florida. At the time, it was mentioned for aggravated assault. Apparently, this is the situation from what we've gathered. This is related to a quote unquote road rage incident where somebody was pretty much riding the tail or doing something to Cash Wheeler, and he flashed his firearm essentially.
And
But
apparently
thankfully,
it happened all the way back in July.
yes, and they're just now like taking care of it or whatever. But the most important thing is nobody was harmed. We just move on. He doesn't have, and who knows? It could have been. We don't know who this person was. It could have been a crazed fan. We all have those moments of just a brief, fleeting moment where and I'm not making excuses for him by any means, but I don't think this is a serious as a situation as it could have been. Let's put it that way. And as far as we know, from everything we've read and heard, should not affect any plans for FTR coming up. Mainly speaking, All In London. As no visas or like his passport or anything like that has been taken away, so we should be good there. But I'm like I say, I'm glad everything's okay, and I hope we can just like put this behind us and move on, and everything's kosher. But let's talk about the rest of Collision from this past Saturday night, and man, oh man, how about the debut of that new upstart, the Golden Vampire? He looked pretty awesome. Yes. It was plain as day. It was CM Punk, but pulling a little conquistador action there, if you will. And it has set up made official Samoa Joe and CM Punk will meet at All In London. Had a tremendous women's match. I thought I'm loving. Let me say this, Tony Khan, Papa Khan. I know you're listening. I need more Diamante on my TV on a weekly basis. Such a talented performer. She is awesome. I need more Diamante on television. I'm
Telling
just
you,
saying.
I think they're gonna be starting an all-female Latina stable.
Hey, I'm for it because like she's killing it, and of course Willow. We love Willow. God, we love Willow. What a great opener too with Jay White against Dalton Castle. Dalton Castle is another guy who should be on television every single week. There's no excuse for it.
A national treasure. Like I tune. When he takes like the camera, and like I'm just like so entertained, like
Yeah.
by that, and like just like to hear what's gonna come out of his mouth. Like
It's
just
amazing. He's always been such a great performer, but seriously, he needs to be booked more. But hey, this was an awesome matchup, I thought, on Collision, on the Fight for the Fallen edition of Collision. Also, we found out Ricky Starks is now going to be a manager for while he's suspended, and apparently he's managing Big Bill. I hope that means something good because I mean they ain't doing a shit with Big Bill. So, and can we change the name too, man? I'm not trying to nitpick here, but come on, man, Big Bill. I need something better than that. But that dude is so freaking talented as well. So I would love to. I hope that's going to be. Yeah, and I agree. Dalton should be protected at all costs. But overall, like Collision, it was a fun show. I think that's the best way to describe it. Is Collision was a fun show. Other story coming out this week too. Lacey Evans is apparently departed from the WWE. I feel like I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on this, like because I think there's a lot of people who are like good riddance, and I think a lot of that stems from just kind of like comments and the way things were handled as far as like on Twitter and stuff like that. I never really had a huge problem with her. I thought she was pretty talented. I feel like the first gimmick they should have stuck with it as the Southern Belle, like the classy Southern lady gimmick.
Yeah.
Incredible in ring.
I think this is gonna be a scenario of, and who knows what she wants to do for future, but I think this is gonna be this is what's best for both of them because I think like there was such a bad taste or narrative of her there.
1,000%.
So if she wants to go somewhere else and have like a fresh start, I think that's what's going to be best for her. Or if she doesn't, like, hey, kudos to her. She probably made a lot of money while she was in the WWE, and she can live a happy life.
So I do follow her on socials, and I do know she is in the process of opening up a coffee shop or a restaurant in her hometown, I believe. So she's got that going for her. But you know where I would love to see her?
3, 2, 1. Impact.
Actually, I Impact would be cool, but they've got enough. I'm thinking of a company that needs more on their roster. NWA. I think it'd be cool if she went to the NWA and feuded with Camille. I think that'd be a badass feud, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with Lacey Evans, but regardless if you loved her, you hate her, she still was a pretty good performer, I feel like, and of course you want to wish her the best in her future endeavors. Well, let's talk about Monday Night Raw or Monday Night Judgment Day. Because they're all over on Raw. But I loved Raw, although this is crazy because once again we say this all the time. It feels like a lifetime ago. But love the stuff they're doing with Alpha Academy and Imperium. Getting that matchup with Chad against Giovanni Fincy, and then of course Gunther going up against Otis or Otis.
Man, this does feel like a lifetime ago,
right? Yeah, it's like
I'm the guy who made the graphics, and I'm like, man, do I have the right one on here? Like, is this like from 2 weeks ago? Like,
yeah. Looks like we got a new tag team possibly, and Riddle and Drew McIntyre. I don't know. It's not like they're doing other shit with them. Just saying. Piper Niven is apparently the new women's tag team champion. I'm your partner. I'm for that because I've always loved her. I loved watching Piper in ICW, like overseas, man. So I hope she gets a badass push because she's a badass wrestler. So Yeah, and then Rhea Ripley going up against Handy Hartwell. We had finally got the Becky Lynch Trish Stratus moment, or the match, which was kind of eh. And then in your main event, you got to see Cody go up against Finn Balor in a great matchup. Also, too, what about the Shinsuke Nakamura promo against Seth? And what the hell did he say to Seth? And Seth's all like, makes you wonder.
So I actually saw this on the interwebs today, like the full translation of it. Mainly, he said like he was tired of people taking advantage of him, tired of people getting in his way, yada yada yada.
Yeah, but he whispered something to him that wasn't audible, and then like Seth had this look of disdain on his face. Like that's what I want to know what he said. But I don't know. But overall, Monday Night Raw this past week was an action-packed show. Well, it has come that time on our show. Let's go to our good close friend, Extreme League Wrestling, for the 5 Count.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 5 Count, the show where I go over 5 wrestling news stories you might have missed this week. Man, this week really snuck up on me like a good horror movie villain. Number 1, Mustafa Ali NXT character scrapped? Damn, this man can't catch a break, huh? Listen here, you Wario-looking son of a give this man a damn chance. I mean, you already denied his release, just let him freaking try. Mustafa Ali has been wanting to do this political character for quite some time now, even dating back to his time on the main roster. Hope was bred into the gimmick being that he was featured on NXT this past week, and it's gone. Since debuting this new gimmick, Mustafa Ali has gone completely dark on social media, changing all of his pictures and backgrounds to the same black square. For a company that prioritizes characters over all, they're really not letting one of their best in-ring performers, have a character. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Just let Ali campaign for the North American title in peace, please. Number 2, John Cena versus Gunther? The question on everyone's minds as of late is who will be the one to dethrone the Ring General Gunther? Well, if John Cena subtweeting him on Twitter is anything to go by, possibly him. While Gunther's reign still has more gas in the tank as he hasn't beaten the Honky Tonk Man's historic record, he has stated in the past that a dream opponent of his would be Big Match John. And in response, John Cena posted a picture of the former Walter onto his Instagram account, along with photos such as this beauty of Eazy-E riding in an N64 and Ricky Bobby Barbie. The Intercontinental title is the one belt in WWE that has eluded Cena throughout his entire career with the company. By no means do I actually want this to happen, but it would be an interesting match on paper. I do not need Cena wins lull in 2023. Number 3, AEW Leatherface money. Move over Orton versus Edge, we have a new greatest wrestling match of all time. This past Wednesday, AEW treated us to the Chainsaw Massacre match between Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy. A match that has definitely split the internet. I personally thought it was a lot of stupid horror movie fun. In-ring action, advertising, and Double J's weird Leatherface belt aside, it was all for a good cause. With the $100,000 payday AEW received for the promotion for the new video game, going right to relief efforts to help those affected by the Maui wildfires. Lord willing, in 100 years, Hawaiian school children won't have to learn about Leatherface in history class. Number 4, Lacey Evans departs from WWE. After some rumors on the internet, Lacey Evans confirmed earlier this week that her WWE contract would be expiring and she would not be re-signing with the company. She will now be going under her real name of Macy Estrella and is now able to work with any company. I find this bit of news more interesting given WWE's history of releasing talent. With both Eric Young and Evans' departure from the company, there was no release really made or future endeavors notice sent out, etc. Normally what the company does in these types of situations. Long story short, compared to other WWE releases, this has been extremely low-key. Could we be seeing a shift in WWE's business practices when it comes to talent either being released or departing the company? Personally, I'm always in favor of workers not being blindsided if they have a job or not. If you remember the Black Wednesday releases where WWE released about 60 people at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, yeah, I'd be very happy if that never happened again. I'm also in favor of it because it's going to add to a lot of anticipation to see where wrestlers are going to go once they leave one company and join another. And number 5, AEW champion arrested. Okay, let's talk about it. The wrestling world was shocked to hear the news this past Friday that one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions, Cash Wheeler, was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon this week. This arrest stems from an alleged road rage incident in which Wheeler allegedly flashed a gun to another driver. Oh my gosh, please, why? Don't make All In another Forbidden Door. Cash Wheeler has been extremely cooperative throughout the investigation and has not had his passport seized by Orlando police. Therefore, he should be able to make the All In show this upcoming weekend. I want to leave you guys today with 2 lessons we can all learn from this situation. You have never really seen one bad thing ever written about Cash Wheeler, and he seems like a really great guy. I don't know him personally, but we all make mistakes and we should give him some grace around this difficult time. And second lesson, if it's a road rage thing, just let it go. It's never worth it and it never works out. Thank you guys so much for watching The 5 Count. J, B-Roll, catch you next time, brothers, and always remember, I've got till 5.
Yeah, you do. But man, oh man, yeah, this, he makes a good point there about the road rage incident. Like, you just gotta let it go. A lot easier said than done, folks. But, well, hey, let's talk about AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday night. I loved it, man. I loved it. Of course, there is a moment we're going to talk about here momentarily that I know not everybody was too fond of, but the rest of the show I thought was great. I love the continuation of the story of everything that's going on with the besties. I mean, it's the bromance of the summer with MJF and Adam Cole, baby. Let me ask you this, B-Roll, because you're a guy who like kind of picks up on little nuances and details. That segment and how they had Tony Khan like yelling at the talent. Did you kind of you got that vibe like this was a dig at the internet because it's like Tony never disciplines his talent?
Yes. 100%.
Yes.
100%. This is my favorite slide, and it's simply just because of like the fact that it's got MJF and Adam Cole and the Crocodile Dundee hats, and then it's also got a Joker Sting.
Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about that. Apparently Joker Sting is back, which I didn't think that was going to happen, but oh my God, the stuff he was doing with the Mogul Embassy and kidnapping Nana and stuff. Oh man. Hey, also got a returning Eddie Kingston, and we did finally get an answer from Chris Jericho, and he was all set to join the Callis family, but it didn't go quite his way, as Will Ospreay showed up and setting up a couple matches for All In, adding to the card, which we'll talk about here in a couple of minutes. But let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, the Texas Chainsaw Death Match. Now, I'm a horror fan personally, so I was okay with this just simply for like the references and stuff. The thing is, folks, you got to keep in mind this is professional wrestling, and sometimes we have silly stuff like this. I mean, and of course we're in a day and age where product placement is huge in all companies now, so especially in wrestling. So, you know, hey, they made a cool like Extreme League said on the 5 Count. They made a cool chunk of change at it, and you know it is what it is. But nonetheless, speaking of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Death Match, good close. Oh,
well, can I just say one thing I could have dealt
Sure.
without during this match?
Yeah.
2 words.
Karen
Jarrett.
Yeah, fuck her. That being said, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because our good friend, the Best Scout Machine, kind of had some questions for Jeff Jarrett about this whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre Death Match. So why don't you take a look at this?
This past week on AEW Dynamite, Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy, that's way too many Jeffs, had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match. And I got to talk with Jeff Jarrett afterward. Jeff, I know you just finished this amazing and bloody encounter, but I want to know, why'd you do it? What are you talking about? I'm over here ready to do my Jackie Fago stud, and you're all over here accusing me of some evilness. For the love of God, I'm a multi-time world heavyweight champion, and you some TikToker, some wrestling TikToker. Shame upon you. What the hell did I do? Well, didn't you set up Leatherface to go after your wife? Love of God, man, you were wrestling Leatherface, a known murderer, attacked your wife. She ran off screaming, and here you are, just celebrating? Where is she? She could be murdered right now. Murdered, I tell you. Listen now, this is nothing more than a little bit of smoke and mirrors. You know, she's safe and sound. She can be at my home later on. She's gonna fix me a hot pocket, and I'm gonna do my Jackie Fargo strut. Not only could your wife potentially be murdered, but also you're wearing a belt now that has the possible murderer's face on it. You 6'6" individual son of a bitch. Why are you talking to me when you could be talking to Leatherface himself? Because he's too important. Why do you think you're talking to me? He's having an interview with Barbara Walters. Wait a damn second. Thought you were dead.
Me too. I guess Barbara Walters lives. Anyways, hey, how about this? Sting and Darby Allin taking it to AR Fox as they showed up at AR Fox's company or his school where he trains wrestlers, and put a hurt on AR Fox before London, man. So this is getting a pretty intense rivalry between Stinger and Darby against Swerve and AR, man. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, and they even aired it on Collision, which I did not know that until I watched Collision.
Yeah, but it's I'm excited to see the coffin match and all in between these four guys, man. I think it's been a pretty fun storyline so far. Yeah, I really have enjoyed like the scenes outside of the ring. I think it's been pretty cool.
This is like related to this, but not related to this all at the same time. I'll give credit where credit is due. I think that AEW so far has done a perfect or near perfect job of building Nick Wayne so far.
I think it's still pretty early to tell, but it's not been bad. Let's put it that way. I don't know if I'd go as far as they've done a phenomenal. I don't know. It just depends on where they're going to go from here. Because we've talked about this so many times before with AEW. What happens? They're great at like building and get to the chase, but then once you get that moment, then what? So I don't know. Well, yeah. Well, let's talk about Rampage from this past Friday night. We got to see the Outcasts go up against Karashita and Sky Blue. How about that matchup between Ray Phoenix and Commander, man? Dude, that was dope as hell. And then we got to see Aussie Open in action against All Ego and Isaiah, or what are we calling him now?
Brothers A.
Brothers Say, that's right. I'm sorry. I'll never get over that.
For the love of God. Dear wrestling gods, please do something better with Ethan Page.
No kidding, right, man? Yeah, I can't stress that enough, man. But yeah, he needs something different. But Rampage, solid show, and yes, we've been talking about it. We are less than a week away from All In, man. And man, oh man, like I think people are I don't know, man. I don't think they're too as enthusiastic about this card, man. I myself, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Yeah, Wardlow 3 times and Don will be I'm okay with it. I mean, you're getting this incredible main event with Adam Cole and MJF, Young Bucks, FTR 3. I know some people are kind of like, I don't know how I feel about Jericho against Ospreay. I'm okay with it. It's simply, you got to keep this in mind, folks. Yeah. Ospreay is just coming off of working a brutal schedule in that G1 Climax. It's like he can't deliver a caliber of Kenny Omega 3 matchup, because I think if they would have done that, it would have let everybody down, honestly. Yeah. Jericho works a different style. He's smart. He's a veteran. I think this is going to be a match. Don't sleep on Jericho versus Ospreay, in my opinion. Well, I know we were let down with the stuff he did with Adam Cole, but I feel like this matchup could surprise people. This just goes to show you how incredible Ospreay is and how great Jericho is.
And I mean, proof's in the pudding. Go back. Everyone was complaining about Orange Cassidy, Will Ospreay, And
Yeah.
that was like the freaking best match on that card. And what I like too is there's a lot of like similarities that they're doing. Like, and I've even seen them like comparing it like with the women's match. At the original All In, there was a 4-way women's match, and it featured like you
Oh
had
yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
and then like Coda, he was in a trio. He was in a trios match. I believe it was with the Bucks.
Well, I'm going to
Uh,
go ahead and say this, and I mean this is no disrespect to all the competitors in that 4-way match, but I wish they were doing something completely different with the women's division. I don't know. It's that's
I
an
mean, I
ongoing
agree,
story.
but
It's just like do better. Both AEW and WWE need to do so much better with their women's division. I mean, but that's another story for another time.
I think there's something that could happen with that women's match, though.
Well, I mean, I think the plan is what's going to happen here. Saraya is going to win because I mean it's in her home country. It's the obvious choice, right? Nothing against Saraya, but I would like to see Sheeta have a longer run. But
Think bigger.
bigger.
Money.
Oh, Mercedes Monet shows up. Well, that'd be fucking. They need it.
I'm calling it now. I think it happens here. Not saying she's all elite, but I think she shows up.
That'd be interesting. I'm for it, but once again, we're literally days away, so we'll find out here real soon. And then, like we said, it was also announced we're getting CM Punk and Samoa Joe, which I think this is another one of those cherry on top matches. Personally, I think this is going to be so cool to see this match take place in the largest crowd they've ever worked in front of before. So, dude, I'm pumped to see Punk and Joe like on the pay-per-view. Oh man, it's going to be fucking great. I cannot wait for this matchup. And of course, the week after that, we got All Out, and well, we only got 2 matches announced so far because everything's being put into All In. We do know that Luchasaurus will defend the TNT title against Darby Allin, and Powerhouse Hobbs will go 1-on-1 against Miro. I don't know, a lot of people kind of up at odds about this All Out card and just how the booking on this has just been pretty weird that you'd have these 2 big pay-per-views back to back. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter to us because we're going to be there. So we're just excited about that. But
That's right.
I don't know. I hope we get more announcements this week on All Out. I mean, I know the focus is on All In, and I do truly think All In is going to like pretty much unveil a lot of matches that you'll see at All Out. But I don't know. It's a weird approach to go, but like I say, we've already got our tickets and we're going to be there and cannot wait. Cannot wait.
We'll soak it all. We'll soak it all in regardless.
Yeah, and MJ makes a good point. This looks like a collision card with these 2 matches, which I don't know. They definitely need some more sizzle. But once again, hey man, I think you're going to know a lot more come after Sunday afternoon across the pond.
Ironically, too, this is looking ahead, and but they are going to be taping Collision on Wednesday this week, I believe.
Oh, that makes sense because they got to travel. Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, it'll be interesting to see what we get from fallout from that. Well, hey, let's talk about NXT from this past week. And once again, NXT, we've talked about before, and we'll say it again. The most consistently booked show in the WWE, man. And I mean, they really are. Extreme League mentioned this in his the 5 count about Mustafa Ali and now another character change. Like, I just hope they fucking use Ali, man, and use him right.
And see, I haven't heard that, so I'm a little sad now that.
Yeah, and he did tease this character last year, so I'm hoping they do this and they do it right. And man, Ali just knocks it out of the park because that's the guy. That's one of the most like truly deserving guys who deserves like a push, man. Mustafa Ali. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen there on him on NXT. We got to see the tag titles up for grabs with the Dyad falling short against the Family. Trick Williams going up against Drew Gulak. Of course, we got to see some Mommy and some Dami, which is always fun. But the big news coming out of this is, how about this? It looks like Wes Lee is your new #1 contender and will challenge Mel. Like, what do you think of this matchup, man?
Well, before we started the show, I'll just go ahead and say what I told you. I'll say it to the people. I said, and I quote, "This could be match of the week next week." And yes, I'm aware that we have All In.
I think that speaks volumes, but you're right. It could be, but it's going to take place this tomorrow night on NXT. So cannot wait. And let's go over to Thursday nights and talk about Impact this past Thursday, which I thought was a great show. Love seeing Deonna Purrazzo go up against Kylan King. Anytime I get to see Kylan King in the ring, I'm for it. Another knockouts match, Killer Kelly against Jessica and Savannah Evans. Which, hey, 2 hours there, people, and you already got at least 2 matches. Like, can't you, like, you got 3 hours on Raw. You think you can do better, WWE? Just saying. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop calling them out. But also some antics with,
wrong, though.
damn straight. Some antics with Joe Hendry, Bully Ray meeting Black Taurus in a street fight. And then how about PCO coming in? Because PCO is not human. And
freaking Rascal's gonna rascal.
The Rascals going over Sami Callihan and Rich Swann in the tag team title #1 contenders tournament. And now they will get a shot at the Impact tag team titles. You know, one other thing I think's been really cool the past couple weeks on Impact, the interviews with Crazy Steve.
Yes.
I think that has been dope as hell, man. I love it. I'm here for it, and I am really intrigued with like what they're gonna do with him. It reminds me a lot as a longtime wrestling fan of back in the day when they did those interviews with Goldust, like on Monday Night Raw, and kind of like revealed the curtain back on his character, like when they did it with like Mankind. But I thought it was pretty cool. But man, Impact had a pretty busy week this week, Mr. B-Roll. Because also the Multiverse United 2 took place on Sunday night and had a loaded show. How about Chris Sabin winning the Crazy Scramble match, that 8-way scramble? Julia retaining her not the Knockouts title, I'm sorry, the New Japan Strong Women's title against Giselle Saw, Deonna Purrazzo, and Momo Koga. Also, Sami Callihan and the South Philly cheesesteak street fight against Doki. That was pretty dope. And then the Bullet Club against the World matchup.
Yeah, that was a crazy matchup for sure. Because 12-man tag, it's going to break down very quickly.
Oh yeah,
for sure. I'll say honestly,
Leo Rush.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That was my favorite match. Was the Leo Rush Trey Miguel with Speedball and Hiromi. That was a that was a good match with them, and a lot of controversy over the New Japan junior heavyweight title. But who gets the next shot? So we shall see.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And then the main event was awesome with Alex Shelley retaining his Impact World title against Hiroshi Tanahashi. So, hey, overall was a great show. But New Japan Pro Wrestling for this weekend in the U.S. was not done. No, as the All-Star Junior 2023 Festival took place. And we got a winner of the tournament. And it's one Speedball Mike Bailey, baby. So it looks like he's getting himself a shot at Hiromi, and kind of like you said, a little controversial in that tag match on the Multiverse. But dude, I'm here for Speedball reign as the New Japan Pro Wrestling or the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, dude. Hell yeah, I need that in my life, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this in here real quickly.
Yeah,
I wonder if we are at the start of Speedball Mike Bailey's villain arc.
You never know. It's a good point, buddy. Well, hey, it's that time of the show. Let's go to our good friend Michael J. Duplessis with the Indie Report.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Michael with some more independent wrestling event news. First off, we have Deadlock Pro Wrestling presenting their second annual Carolina Classic at the Durham Armory at 212 Foster Street, Durham, North Carolina, September 17th. You can get your tickets at eventbrite.com/Deadlock Pro Wrestling. Second, Chaos Wrestling Organization presents Dissension, September 30th at the VFW Post 7573. That is at 3511 23 Mile Road in New Baltimore, Michigan. Doors open at 6:30. You can also get those tickets at eventbrite.com/Chaos Wrestling Organization. And thirdly, Destination 6 Pro Wrestling presents Opportunity is Knockin', September 16th at 136 West Carroll Street in Macomb, Illinois. Show starts at 6 p.m. You can go to their Facebook page, Destination 6 Pro Wrestling, and you can get your tickets through their Cash App, or they will be at the door. And that is your independent wrestling event news.
Well, there you have it. All right. Now, this weekend was a big weekend for one GCW as Homecoming took place, which is arguably one of their biggest, if not the biggest event of the year for GCW. And my God, man, both these nights were loaded. I had a blast watching these shows, man. Night one, if you were a deathmatch enthusiast, boy, oh boy, you got your money's worth. Because you had not one, not two, but I think four, maybe three or four. Yeah, there was like literally. Well, you opened up with the death match against with Maki Def Kill going up against Cardona and Steph DeLander, and we got to talk about that. The death match busters. This was like the greatest entrance in GCW history by far, man. Oh my God, coming in the fucking the Ghostbusters car, man. Oh, it was so dope. So dope. And the gear was great. But they took a beating in this matchup for Maki Ito and Nick Gage. Kudos to them. But this rivalry has been going on for so long. And now it looks like it's come to a head. And interesting to see where Matt Cardona goes from here. He's already talking like he's done with GCW, you know. But everything Cardona does is just chef's kiss. So I'm sure this can be some other amazing storyline. But this match was awesome. Like I said, you had several others in the main event. You got Violento Jack going over Matt Tremont in a death match. You also had a death match for the King of Freedom World Championship, the Japanese promotion that GCW's been working with Toro Seguro going over John Wayne Murdoch. You also had a double dog collar match with Joey Janela and Sawyer Wreck against Charles Mason and Pero, which that rivalry had been building up for a while. The in-ring return of Tony Deppen happened on night one. Dude, this was like a loaded night one. But like I say, if you love the death matches, man, you got your money's worth on night one. But let's talk about night two, Mr. B-Roll. And the most highly anticipated match of the night by far was one Masha Slamovich, the rematch between her and Blake Christian for the GCW World Championship. And, well, unfortunately for Masha, a lot of shenanigans, of course, and somehow Blake Christian found a way. Cousin Blake is still your GCW World Champion. But, you know, I have it on good authority that both of them are huge fans of Cole TV. If you watched our birthday special from this past weekend, you'd know that. Just saying. And you can catch a replay here now. nonetheless. Also, we got to see, I love this, the team of Front, Alley Catch, Effie, Dark Sheik, and Sawyer Wreck defeat the Brat Pack. The biggest story, though, by far of the day 2 has to be the fact that Mr. B-Roll, we got new GCW Tag Team Champions as Toru Segura and Takashi Sasaki defeated the East-West Express. Of course, they were helped by Filinto Jack to get the win there. And, of course, he would go into the main event against the GCW Ultra-Violent champion, Rina Yamashita, where she would defeat him and retain him. But we got to talk about the aftermath of this because we did find out at the end of the night that the Art of War Games 3 will be taking place October 7th in Atlantic City. And it is going to be GCW going up against Japanese Deathmatch Wrestling, essentially, as you have Team Freedoms, which will consist of Jun Kasai, Masashi Takeda, Takashi Sasaki, Filinto Jack, and Toru Segura. Now, we don't know officially who's on Team GCW, but pretty much you can count on Nick Gage, probably John Wayne Murdoch, Matt Tremont, Yamashita, but I don't know. Overall, GCW Homecoming was an awesome show, but unfortunately, it didn't have this man on it. El Faiquino did get pulled from the show due to injury. Still suffering from an injury. We don't know the extent of it. We just know that he did pass out at the backstage in Triple Mania a week ago. So we're hoping he's doing well. We get to wish him all the best wishes here and get to see him soon and return back into the ring again. And of course, over in Japan, it's still going strong, folks. Up until the end of September, the 5-Star Grand Prix from Stardom is continuing on, and an update on the brackets there, the standings in the blocks. So in the Red Stars block, we have Momo Watanabe is in the lead with 12 points, followed by Mayo Iwatani at 11, Kogumi at 11, Starlight Kid at 11. So Starlight Kid finally getting on the map about damn time. And it's cool to see that she is now pretty much in second place, which is crazy. Hamika at 10 points, Fugian at 10, Natsupora at 9, Julia at 6, which is a little bit of a surprise there. And then you got Mina Shikara at 6. And then, you know what, folks? I'm going to call an audible here. I got to be honest with you. I'm reading this, and I was wondering, like, how that's possible. I'm reading the wrong results, so pay no attention to what I just said. But the 5-Star Grand Prix is going still strong, and will continue to go, I believe, till the end of September. I can promise you this. I'll make sure my notes are better for next week.
We're live, pal.
Yeah, I was reading it. I was like, wait a minute. How the fuck did they already get that many points? And I was like, wait a minute. Julia's not in that block. So, whoopsie. Anyways.
Did you see Florida Man was announced for StarCast?
Yes.
We did.
Get StarCast. That is exciting. Well, that being said, you know, since I made a big boo-boo, I'm human. It happens. Let's go to our good friend Spicy for a spicy take. Make me smile.
Spicy Guac here, pondering. What would have happened if Kai and Tai would have in fact choppy the pee-pee? Or if the hand that Mae Young gave birth to pursued professional wrestling just like his mother and his father?
That is, dude, that's a good point, man. I kind of wonder, man.
What would have happened?
It would have happened indeed. So, all right. I feel really bad. You're gonna have to like bear with me. I'm gonna get these damn results. Mr. B-Roll, why don't you do a little song and dance for us right now?
But I'm only human, and I bleed when I fall down. I'm only human.
Only human. Oh, this show is
crash into the ground.
Well, you know what? We'll try to get those results by the end of the show because we got to move on here. How about this? It was announced that the WWE has filed the trademark for ECW's CyberSlam pay-per-view, Barely Legal, and Massacre on 34th Street. Obviously, these are probably going to be NXT shows, but
still cool.
Yeah, still. Oh yeah, I'm for it. You know, I think it's kind of cool. You know, Maybe we get some extreme matches in there. Probably not, but it is what it is. So I'm okay with it. DIY, are they back together? Well, Tommaso Ciampa is certainly looking for Johnny Gargano, because he's got all sorts of missing flyers going for him. Looks like we're gonna get a DIY reunion sometime soon. What do you think of that, Mr. B-Roll?
I'm hoping so. I am certainly hoping so. I loved everything about this, even like the whole back scene, thing with Chelsea. Like, well, maybe you could put some missing person signs up. Like,
I always keep in
loved it.
mind they went viral years ago with the whole Glorious Bomb stuff. So maybe this is something else that happens. I don't know. I'm for it though, and I need DIY back on my screen. I'm just saying. Ugh, I don't need this on my screen though. Boy, oh boy, how far we've come from. I know you want me. So Tammy Lynn Sitch has pleaded no contest. Imagine that. In a DUI case where, of course, she got her. God, I forget which DUI. Like I think we're on like 27 or something like that at this point. But it did result in somebody passing away. Apparently, she may end up possibly getting up to 25 years. I hope she gets that and more. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But like, you talk about giving people multiple chances, stuff. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Yeah, look how different she is, even from 2 years ago. This is true. But no, life has not been good to her. But you know what? Honestly, she got to take some responsibility. And me personally, I think she brought that on herself. But it is what it is. Anyways, it's that time of the show. Let's go to our good friend Brian for Brian's random moment of the week.
Top of my shiny, slicked up shaved head. Oh yeah, looks better. Hi, Brian again, Brian's House of Random, coming to you for PW60 and Brian's random moment of the week. First, I want to say big shout out, big thank you. Saturday night had a great time with the rest of the Cole TV group. We had Husky and Bree, of course XL and Mr. B-Roll hosting. We had Extreme League Wrestling. Let's see, CDC was in there. MJD, Duplessis with the suplexes was part of it. And everybody who joined in had a tremendous time hanging out, playing games, and even some great chat after we went off the air. So very, very honored to be a part of this community, this familia, you might say, with the Wrestletok community. Now, PW60 for my random moment of the week, and continuing the series about factions and your ultimate version of them. And last week I looked at Impact Wrestling and Raven's gathering in Impact Wrestling. This week I was going to move back to ECW, got a couple more in mind there, but I thought of this one, sticking with TNA/Impact Wrestling. The Main Event Mafia. Of course, their first run, very well known, very powerful group, lasted almost exactly 1 year. And of course, the first 5 members they had, Kurt Angle, Booker T, Sting, Scott Steiner, and Kevin Nash. So this one's going to be a little different. You get to keep 3 of those members, but kick out 2 and replace with 2 other people. And again, it could be people who were in Impact Wrestling at that time, or it could be people who were in another company, maybe Ring of Honor or WWE around that time period. However you want to do it, build your ultimate faction. So keep any 3. Do you want to keep Angle, Steiner, and Nash, or Sting, Booker T, and Angle, and then replace and put 2 others? Choice is yours. Comment and let me know below, and let us know your answers for your ultimate version of the Main Event Mafia in Impact Wrestling.
36 Buffy. Oh, sorry, we're back on the air. Yes, Brian, bringing it again.
That's
Always
a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Like,
so.
I have one question. And I know we're like at the end of the time here, but if I kick out Kevin Nash, do I lose his longtime tag team partner of the Wrestletok Drip God himself, Hambone?
I don't know. You'd have to take that up and hit with him. But we love Brian. We love Hambone. We have all our Wrestletok creators, and we've got our creator of the week this week is one Kylie 11900. She puts out some pretty cool videos. She's a big wrestling fan, a lot about the WWE and stuff, and she's got some other great content too as well. You should go check her out. Give her a follow because she is our Wrestletok content creator of the week. And hey, I got an update for you, okay? I'm going to do real fast. I got the right standings for the 5-star Grand Prix. Here we go.
Got this. I believe in you.
Okay. The Red Stars, you have Natsupo at 9 points, Natsutora at 8 points, Mayo Iwatani at 5 points, Tam Nakanawa at 5 points, Suri at 5, Suzy Suzuki at 4 points, Starlight Kid at 2, along with Ami Sori, Hasuka at 2, and still not on the board is Saya Kamatani. Now, in the Blue Stars block, we have Mina Shirakawa leading with 6 points, but she is tied with Momo Watanabe at 6. You have Julia with 5 points. Mira at 4 points, Sora Noah at 4 points, Utami Hashishita at 4 points, Maria May at 4, along with Azam at 4 points, Makia at 3, and Hanan at 2. Oh, yeah, and by the way, there's a payback match that's been announced. People want to gripe about AEW's booking and stuff for matches. Shit. WWE hasn't announced shit for this show other than we're getting a steel cage match between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, which honestly at this point, I don't know if I really care about. So I'm just saying, I don't know. And Hambo's thinking on that. And our last story, oh baby, let's talk about WrestleMania 40 tickets went on sale this past week, and they are already shattering records. That's right. As supposedly that's already the largest gate in one day of sales. 90,000 tickets have already sold. And if you didn't watch our birthday party, you missed out on this announcement, but we'll go ahead and make it here too as well. Your boys are going to be going to WrestleMania 40 next year. That's right. It'll be our first WrestleMania. Cannot wait for it. And we're going to have all sorts of awesome vlogs and amazing content coming to you from WrestleMania in Philadelphia. I cannot wait, my friend. Well, Mr. B-Roll, we have done it again. We've come to the end here of another week in the world of professional wrestling. What a week it was. And hey, what a week is coming up as it is all in week. So excited to see what's going to be the fallout from this incredible once-in-a-lifetime show. Well, I'm Xlj the Og, along with my partner in crime, Mr. B-Roll, and that's going to wrap it for this episode. But we'll see you next week on a brand new episode of Pro Wrestling 60. Everybody have an awesome week.